guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today is day 28. Wow, we're almost done with the first month of the year of Ethany's hashtag 31 Days of Tarot 20 for 2020. And the prompt for today asks us if we've ever turned a tarot non-believer into a tarot enthusiast. Well, I guess I kind of have a little bit of a story on that, and it's a little more recent. So I'd say this occurred last year. Yeah, like October-ish. And then I got like wind of like all the changes like that people had towards tarot attitude as of like a couple of weeks ago, like the people that I read for in October. So, okay, here's the story, because I had no idea like any of this was going on until the people that I read for were talking to me about it. So back in October, a friend of ours had a little get together for a UFC party. Every now and then he has a UFC party. I like the UFC. Back in the day, I was a big Ronda Rousey fan. Now I'm a big Holly Holm fan. And anyway, there was a friend of his, it's like a husband and wife. And the wife was the person I did the reading for. And then I ended up doing a reading for my friend that was hosting the get together for the UFC party. So firstly, I did the reading for our friend's friend. And because I don't know, we were talking about the Oracle deck that I had made, and she's like, oh, that's interesting, like what is Oracle, what is tarot? And then a couple people were listening, and I was kind of like talking about the differences, like how some systems have structure and some systems don't have structure, and so we're just kind of chit-chatting, and then she says that she's actually never had a reading before, and I was like, I'll do a reading for you, so first it was like what do I need to know in general? Like she just wanted to see what do you do with the cards? And I was trying to explain the cards, like this is the meaning of the card and this is what I'm getting from the card based on my interpretation of it, plus like what I see in the picture. And, so I was trying to show her that like, it's not just coming out of nowhere, like this is how I read cards, and it started to make sense to her. And then she was like, that's interesting. And she was having some questions about her relationship. I mean, her relationship is good, she loves her husband and all of that, but she really wants to have a family of her own, because her husband has a child from a previous relationship, and so she's a stepmom, but she's always wanted to have babies, and he says that he's all done, he doesn't want to have any more kids. And so she was like, just wanted to see like how not having children would affect her, mentally, physically, emotionally, in the future, how it might affect their relationship. And, basically the cards were saying that everything is just hunky-dory, everything's fine, there's nothing wrong with your relationship. She admitted that she's actually very happy. This is somebody that she really connects to on a deep level, and that she's not upset with him in any way. She's happy. She just, just really wants to have kids with him more than just having a step kid. And so all the cards kept saying to chill out, like everything is gonna work out just fine, everything's gonna be great. And she's like fretting, and then my dude brought up that I could do body scans. Basically I can kind of look inside people's bodies and kind of see what's going on. She was like, oh well, while we're doing this reading, do you mind doing a body scan? And I was like, sure. And inside the scan I saw a couple of things, like basically it was like like sore back and stuff like that, like go get a massage, but there was something that I thought to make note of in her lady parts region, and I was like, there's something there, I'm not sure what it is, but I think you need to go see a doctor. And at first she thought she had a cyst because I saw something growing in there, and so she thought, oh, because I have a predisposition to cysts, so she thought she had a cyst. And I was like, well, if it's a cyst, if it's whatever, even if it turns out to be nothing, probably couldn't hurt to go see your gynecologist. So she's like, okay, I'll do that. And I, gave her some more advice from the tarot cards, and she was like, oh, okay, that's great. And then I did a reading for my friend that actually threw the party, and he's a little more skeptical. Like his wife, who was out of town, is like totally into all of it, like woo woo. But he, a little more skeptical. So I was doing his reading, and he was surprised that what the cards were saying, that I wasn't just making this up. I'm like showing him like this is the meaning of this card. Like he's like, wow, like that's actually connecting to like my situation, and he thought that was interesting. And then through the tarot, I also connect with spirit guides, and so his spirit guide happened to be Filipino, which he thought was interesting because he himself isn't Filipino, but his wife is. And so he's like, okay, so, and sometimes I can speak the language of the spirit guide that comes through, which would be a language that is foreign to me, but would be the language that possibly the person I'm reading for would be able to understand. And so I started saying a couple of things in Tagalog, but he doesn't really speak Tagalog very well. His wife does, and he's like, well, I don't speak Filipino. So I'm like, okay, because I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, like, seriously, the only Tagalog I know, I know I'm part Filipino, but I only know food, okay? I know mabuhay, and I know food. And so he was ending up having to use Google Translate to figure out what I was saying, and what was coming out in Google Translate was directly relating to the reading, what was directly relating to the topic of what we were talking about. And so he basically, his like mind was blown. He didn't know what to make of that. He said he was definitely going to take a lot of that into consideration. It was his first, tarot reading, and he was just like, wow, like, maybe there is something to that. So, definitely opened him up, So let's then go back a couple of weeks. Our friend has another UFC party. And I also did more readings at his party, because now he was like, oh dude, that girl can read. So he's total, like, he's into it now. And so, I was reading for some friends, but anyway, that same couple, showed up, with the wife that was all worried about everything. And so she was like, oh my God, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. She's like, do you remember the reading you did for me? And usually when I do readings, it all just comes out, and I don't really remember too much of the reading. So she had to refresh my memory of kind of what went on. And she was like, remember how you said everything was going to be okay? And, I should just like chill out about, our relationship and all of this. And she's like, and then you did that body scan. She's like, guess what? I'm pregnant. I was like, what? And she's like, remember you said you saw something growing in me. She goes, that was our child. And she was like, oh my God. And it was in the cards too. Like, she's like, the cards said that everything was going to be okay. And she's like, and, and her husband, he's happy and all of that. And she was like, yeah, she goes, I really did have to chill out, because literally, she goes, what I was fretting about, I was like already pregnant. She goes, and it took, she said at least a couple of weeks before she started getting like morning sickness and wasn't feeling well. And then she took a pregnancy test. So she was like, dude, she's like, literally like weeks before I knew, like you knew. And I was like, well, I didn't actually know you're pregnant. I just knew that there was something like growing. And so anyway, so she's like, total, I'm in, like 100%, like, she's like, cards, all of that. So, yeah, that is my story. I thought that was, interesting. At least, a couple of people are like, hey, there is something to this. It's not just like, people making up all kinds of crazy stuff. So I thought that was cool. Like, I was shocked too. But yeah, and, especially to have my friend's like skeptical husband be all like, dude, like, you want a tarot reading? Like, she's good. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, and I thought I would share that story with you. So I thought that was very appropriate for this prompt. I look forward to seeing what kind of stories you guys tell about, being able to kind of change people's perception on the tarot. Because I think there's a lot of pop culture about it, that it's this either the religious front where it's demonic and it's all the devil, or you have the other thing where it's just like a bunch of crazy people making up stuff with cards, and so to have two people be like, wow, Like there is something going on that we can't really explain, but yeah, that does make sense. If this card means this and this card means this and this card means this, yeah, that definitely relates to like what's going on with me. And so they found that fascinating. Yeah, so that is my story anyway. So let me know your thoughts, and if you dug this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittensweightsandtarot.com. Not only do I have a plethora of readings, many different kinds of readings, I even have scrying readings, conchomancy readings, Lenormand readings, but I also have room and body sprays that I make. I have healing bracelets that I hand make myself, and I have my magical healing salve. And I know I gotta make more of my Goddess of the Rose salve, but it just takes a little while for the rose petals, which I harvest myself from my front yard, to steep in their jars. I like the oil to absorb the oils from the rose petals. So I will have more Goddess of the Rose salve, which tends to sell out like that. So I know that once I put them in my shop, they're gonna be gone in like a week. So anyway, I will catch you spiritual homies tomorrow for day 29, and that's it for me. So if you want to send a little tea money my way, which I'm gonna go get my tea right now, and think about joining that KWT tribe over at patreon.com/kittensweightsandtarot. And thank you to my VIP patron, Joseph Monreal, my Uncle Joe. And that's it for me, you guys. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.